the ball. The fact that he's playing like he is right now is unbelievable. Hitting over 300, hitting 301 batting average, 43 hits, only on 143 at-bats. He's not even getting too many at-bats either. 1 home run, 19 RBIs, 21 runs scored. In that 8th spot of the lineup, he's doing great. I mean, you look at his batting average over 4 years, he's sitting at 240 right now. I mean, that would be so much less if, this year didn't even occur, because he's really, you look at his last 3 years, 259, 240, and 170. I mean, he is batting very well. And especially you look at his at-bats. We're only about, a little more than 2 months, about 2.5 months through the season. And he already has 143 at-bats. And the most amount of at-bats he's ever had was in a season was 229. So, obviously, knock on wood, unless injury occurs, he's definitely going to be the guy who's going to get, he really is right now. He's the guy who's going to really get the majority of the starts, especially with Chris Iannetta not playing well. And, to be honest, Chris Iannetta is not playing bad. He really can't put the at-bat, he really can't put together the at-bats that Tony Walters can, especially when, he's obviously not as young as Tony Walters. So, Tony Walters he really can do it all, and he can do it all better than Chris Iannetta can. Chris Iannetta is, he's a good player. Obviously past his prime, but he can still catch, though, and he can still hit. So, obviously, I'm not going to say Chris Iannetta is a bad player, but Tony Walters is definitely still in the spotlight this year. He did everything he needed. He did everything the Rockies needed from him to step up, and he's doing a great job, and he really is making an impact. And, you can see it immediately, especially in some crucial situations. So, I guess from the wild card game last year, that walk-off hit, or the go-ahead single, to now, he is showing no signs of slowing down. So, and now Charlie Blackmon just hit a triple, drove in 2 runs, 9-5 Colorado. So it seems like we are going to bring this game home. Hopefully, obviously it's not a guarantee, but obviously hitting very well. Charlie Blackmon is, he's very confident, and he is doing very well. So there's a lot of guys in our lineup who are just seem to be just really getting in groove, and obviously sometimes it always takes about a month to get into it, or even maybe 2 months. But once these guys settle in, once these guys start stringing together at bats, that's how a team becomes dangerous. So Charlie Blackmon sitting at 32 years old, guy can he's in his prime right now, and he's only going up too. So great to see Charlie Blackmon doing well. You look at his average among his career, every year of his career. You look at it, it's, rookie year 2011, 255 average, 2012, 283 average, 2013, 309 average, which was his best year up until 2016, where he hit 324. That was a huge offensive year for the Rockies. Same with the next year, 331, and 291 last year, which wasn't his best, but last year he seemed to slow down. Same with a lot of the players, including Nolan Arenado, who was having an MVP campaign, but seemed to really slow down and really not perform well at all in the months of August and early September. So, but the Rockies are they are definitely performing well, and are just most aspects of play, they're playing well, and they're really you could see it in their game of play, and you could see it against these division rivals. These games like this, they can completely take over games as long as the pitching holds, and even sometimes even if the pitching doesn't hold, the Rockies are just very they're very able to do to just completely tear apart other teams' rotations. So it is great to see the Rockies doing well, and great to see them turn around. So, but moving on, I did want to talk about, I guess just to talk about a couple things. One being, I was looking at, I guess to take a look at, the Rockies, I guess the latest news of the Rockies, if you want to put it like that. I guess, especially, talk about a guy, a lot of guys are being sent down right now. A lot of guys are being brought up. Mike Dunn set to return. Dale just got optioned back to AAA. So a lot of guys being moved up, down. Freeland just struggled in his second minor league start. I mean, he pitched worse than he did in the majors this year. So, it's tough for him, and it is tough from going where he was. Right now he's a 10.13 ERA in the minors. He lasted 5 2/3 innings, gave up 9 runs and 2 home runs. It's tough. I mean, he went from being almost a Cy Young. And obviously, he wouldn't be a Cy Young. DeGrom completely sealed that. But being up there in the race to going to where he is now, in the minors, pitching how he is, it's like, wow. I mean, it's upsetting, but at the same time, that's just what pitchers go through. I mean, you got to think of it this way. I mean, you're facing professionals. I mean, both ways. I mean, you're facing a professional hitter. You're facing a professional pitcher. Both ways. I mean, he's gonna struggle, and he's gonna he's gonna succeed. I mean, you don't go out there every day and pitch that well, by chance. I mean, he's obviously, that's who he is. That's how talented he is. He just hit a rough patch, and he'll get back to where he was. It's just gonna take time. That's all. But it is surprising. I mean, he finished 4th last year in the National League Cy Young voting. One of the best pitchers in Rockies history last year. That's how we viewed him. That's how us fans viewed him. 2.85 ERA. Won 17 games. He was, he seemed unstoppable and he seemed unhittable, which he really, when it comes down to it, I mean, he was competitive, and he really, I keep on using past tense, but he is competitive. He's a competitor, and he showed it in the wild card game. I mean, he went out there and he battled. He had an objective, and he really went for it, and he did a great job for us last season. So, he'll be back, and let's just, he's that type of pitcher who is that good. He'll be back. But guys like that, it's tough to see. So, it is tough, but the Rockies are just, that's just how baseball works. Guys succeed and guys fail, and the guys who fail succeed, and the guys who succeed fail. It's just this mutual, experience that happens to pitchers, especially pitchers. It can happen to hitters as well, obviously, a game of mistakes. But like I said before, pitchers are going against, professional players, and obviously it goes both ways. But you're going against professional hitters, and these guys, you're not pitching well, and these guys will take advantage of you. It's like, it's not like, oh, you miss a pitch and these guys are gonna miss it. I mean, once again, they're being paid millions of dollars to hit a baseball. They're gonna, they're definitely gonna make contact with the ball and hit it far. So, a lot of missed pitches for Kyle. Also surprising because when you look at his spin rate this year, it's very similar to last year as well. So, really unknown of what the problem is, but he is he's just not playing well. And that's really, it's all there is to it. He's just not playing how he was last season. It's surprising, but he'll be back, and it's just how it is. But to take a complete 180, and to switch to German Marquez, who basically last year had a great year as well. You look at his 2019 stats. He's obviously he's not pitching well. I wouldn't say he's pitching well, but I would say that he's definitely putting up numbers that we're seeing last season. Guy's a strikeout machine. His ERA isn't great, but he is a strikeout machine. So, posted a 4.19 ERA this year, but he is about almost half the amount of strikeouts he had last season, and he's also half the strikeouts he had last season, and he's we're only about a little more than 2 months through the season. So, but German Marquez is great. He once again, he may allow some runs, but when he ever faces adversity, he just puts batters down. He strikes them out, and he has the ability to really take them in. He's a great curveball and a great fastball too. So, pitchers really don't know what to expect against him. That's just the pitcher he is. He has a lot of tools, a lot of pitches, and he has the ability to do so. So it is great that we do have a guy like that on our roster who can do that. So German's been huge for us. He really has been. Especially guys who are guys, especially in our bullpen starting pitchers, guys like the Rockies pitchers who really have been doing well. For him to be the diamond in the rough, so to speak, is it's huge for us because, once again, I brought this, this point up before with Peter Lambert. I mean, there is such thing as a 2-game swing, and, when it comes down to the last games of the season, every game matters. You could say 162 games in a season, but every game matters because, a pitcher goes out and he has one bad inning, loads him up, but then can strike out 3 batters in a row and completely turn around the game. That's a 2-game swing, and when it comes down to it, that's whether you make the playoffs or you don't make the playoffs. So, but Herman has the ability to do that. He has a great arm. He's 6-3 this year, and that's where it comes down to. I mean, 6-3 obviously is pretty good. It's pretty good. The ERA is not unbelievable, but wins and losses, he's getting wins. I mean, he can really shut down batters, and that's really all. That's all that matters. You're getting wins. It's really all that matters. So, but it is great to see him succeed, and I am glad he is. So, but just to I guess I keep doing this, but I think that it's definitely I guess it is convenient that there is a game going on right now. Just to check into the Rockies game, top of the 8th. Whoever's listening to the podcast, top of the 8th. Rockies are up 9-5, 2-2. Padres are up. Will Myers is up. One out, and Franmil Reyes just had a single. So, man on first, no outs, 2-2. Top of the 8th. Rockies up 9-5. So, seems like we will get the win tonight. That'll put us in a great spot. I think that the Rockies right now, or especially as we near the next 2 games of the series, we can win a game tomorrow, seal the series win, and have a chance at the series sweep. That's huge. I mean, it's these games are you could always say we're only in June, but at the end of the day, I mean, making the playoffs could just be a 1-game swing, a 2-game swing. So, but right now it's obviously it's not a definite win, but with man on first and second, no outs for the Padres, but Scott Oberg has been able to shut it down, and Scott Oberg has really been able to shut it down. So I can tell you right now that Scott Oberg is going to shut down Austin Allen, and is going to really pitch well. So he has the ability to do that, just like Herman. He can fall behind, but he can really step up. He's a 1.84 ERA, and even last year, everyone's looking at Adam Ottavino. He was the guy. He posted up very similar numbers to Adam Ottavino. His WAR was a bit lower, but I mean they had a very similar WAR. His ERA was very similar. He actually had a lower WHIP than Ottavino. So, and a bullpen pitcher, your WHIP is huge. So, that's one of your most important stats. So, Oberg's always been great. I'm glad he's pitching well. So, but Dodgers just scored 2, 6-3 Dodgers against the Cubs. So, Dodgers, probably will get the win tonight, but that's the thing. I mean, you look at it, you could say, oh, it's a 162-game season, and the Rockies are gonna, one loss doesn't matter, and then you could always say, oh, it's a 162-game season, every loss matters. So, just like now, I mean, let's say the Rockies win and the Dodgers win, it doesn't matter, it's one game, but let's say the Rockies lose and the Dodgers win, I mean, that's a 2-game sweep. So, 2-game sweep is everything, and it's just one thing that really can make an impact, and we've seen it happen, especially this, the Rockies not being unable to win the division. It's especially against the Dodgers. I mean, you look at the beginning of the season, we got swept by them. That's huge. And that's unbelievably huge for them. That's basically an 8-game swing. An 8-game swing the Dodgers got against us, because if we swept them, that's 8 games. So it's just how it works. It's baseball. That's how it works. So, but obviously, I love the sport. It's a great sport. Scott Oberg just struck out Austin Allen. Just like I said, I mean, he's going to compete. Scott Oberg's allowed 2 straight singles. That's who he is. He's going to, falls behind, but he's going to come right back to the next batter and strike him out. So, so we do have some guys in our bullpen who are like that, and who are just able to go out every day and do that. But yeah, so the Rockies are looking good right now, and they continue to look good. But I guess as we near the end of the podcast, about 14 minutes left. There was a couple more things I wanted to touch up on. One of them was a player in particular by the name of Brendan Rodgers. One guy who was called up against the Phillies about 3 3 or 4 weeks ago.